Welcome. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
We're right here at a2dradio.com, and we are live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios there in Atlantic City. We are in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey, back where it all began. Feels good to be back every Wednesday night. We are brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountant, 215-369-3300 on the web, gibsonmayer.com. A lot of things to talk about. We'll talk about Ben Simmons, your overall initial reaction from seeing him play a little summer league ball, and everything that's going around the league. We'll talk free agency. We'll talk Durant. We'll get into everything NBA throughout the course of this show. We're going to start with the Phillies. It's going to be a first-half breakdown review of what the Phillies did in the first half. We'll break it all down. Our poll question you can vote on is, who has been the 2016 Phillies' biggest first-half surprise? Herrera, Gomez, Rupp, Eichhoff. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. That's brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. BMW Atlantic City has challenged its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. Lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off exit 37 of the Parkway. Online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Rob Povey on vacation. I'm double dipping here, but I'm joined like every Wednesday night. Michael Mataraki. I'm Tom Arnone. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Tommy. This is like it's like old home week. It's not quite back where we started, but it's got that home, that hometown feel to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we're in the vicinity.
We're in the vicinity.
We're not where it all started, but we're in the the same address.
But I'll tell you what, big upgrade. It's like we took a step up, and then we took another step up.
Oh yeah, big step up, no question about it.
And the people are going to be real happy in a couple of weeks when the return happens.
Yes, and I will touch on it.
I'm throwing the tease
throw
out
the
there.
tease, and then we'll just tell them that we're looking the first week of September. We'll be back to live video here and ready to roll. So you'll be able to see our faces. Not that you want to, but you have that reaction aspect to it if you like. If you don't want to see our faces, just listen.
Live video, huh?
Live
means
video.
I better get back on them protein shakes.
Yeah, me as well. Now I got to hit the gym more and all these good things. But we're breaking down the Phillies, and that's the question at hand: is who's been the biggest first half surprise for the Phillies? Herrera, Gomez, Rupp, Eichhoff. Is it somebody else? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, A2D Radio, vote, and we'll read your reactions right here on air. Mr. Mataraki, obviously there's nobody else here, so I'm going to start with you.
You mean I'm not getting punched and kicked under the table by an emotional guest co-host?
Nope, not at all. It's just me and you,
all right.
Big dog. So
that's how we roll.
Who's been your biggest surprise?
For me, it's been Cameron Rupp. At the end of the game today, Cameron Rupp in 53 games played, so they haven't overplayed him. 283 average, 8 homers, 22 RBIs. Could cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, 52 strikeouts, but solid defensively. 500 slugging percentage, 821 OPS. To me, Cameron Rupp is a guy who, going into the season, he was kind of anointed the starting catcher just based on the fact that Carlos Ruiz is kind of getting up there in age, last year of a contract. I didn't expect a lot from him at all. If he would have hit 250 with 10 bombs for the entire season, I would have been happy with it. Now he's at 283, already got 8 home runs, and what is, I think, the most intriguing part about this with me, where Cameron Rupp is concerned, he suddenly started creeping up into trade talks. Because there's teams out there that are contenders. One of them that comes to mind immediately is the Dodgers, that really, really needs catching help. And if Cameron Rupp is going to get you, a high to mid-level single-A ball player or a mid-level double-A ball player, while you've got Andrew Knapp and Jorge Alfaro waiting in the wings, you got to do that. I mean, it's funny to say, but Cameron Rupp is playing so well that he may be getting himself traded.
Which, I'm fine with that. I have no issues with trading Rupp. If you feel, Alfaro, Knapp, you got guys coming up that play that same position. Obviously you like Tommy Joseph at first, so Knapp, I think we talked before the season. That's where we thought he was going. I don't think anybody thought Tommy Joseph was going to beat Andrew Knapp to the big leagues, but that's just how it worked out. So now you got 2 catchers, 2 first basemen. So it's going to be an odd man out, so Cameron Rupp wouldn't be a bad guy to think about dealing.
No, and what's interesting, too, is if Tommy Joseph watches the farm reports at all, he's got to wonder how much time he's really going to have as that right-handed hitting first baseman, because Hoskins at Double-A Reading, big first baseman, just won Eastern League Player of the Month for June and has caught Dylan Cousins for the the team and league lead in home runs at Reading, and this guy is just a beast right now.
Yeah, he is.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I mean, the more the merrier. You know what I mean? The more competition, the more guys hitting, the more guys trying to get up here and play, the better it is, because they're not all going to work out. You know what I mean? So why have more? But,
Well, it's crazy because I was down there Sunday night, and that game was wild. Me and my buddy went down there specifically to see Thomas Eshelman pitch, and that game was 4-3 Harrisburg after 1, 8-6 Reading after 2. 2 innings took an hour and 22 minutes. Reading winds up winning the game 12-10, but the crazy part about it was Alfaro looked like garbage at the plate. Just kind of off balance, wasn't making contact, just didn't look good at all, but threw out 2 runners stealing. Guy's got a hose for an arm, and he comes back the next day with 3 knocks. So it's like, it's just one of them days.
Yeah, I mean, guys have it. It's baseball. You're set up to fail.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Herrera, and the reason, and I know surprise is somebody that comes out of nowhere, but I think if you ran a poll on most people, I don't think anybody would have expected this. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's on pace for 20-20-20, batting over 300. His adjustments from year 1 to year 2 have been nothing. It's been spectacular. I mean, most guys don't make them quick adjustments like that. From a guy who was prone to strike out a lot, he cut down on his strikeouts. I mean, he has 65 right now. He's become a pretty good leadoff hitter. I mean, 48 runs scored, which, has him on pace, close to 100 there. So, I mean, just the way he's taken one year to the next, that's a surprise. Not to me. I felt like this was going to happen, but to a lot of people, I think Herrera's a surprise.
Well, that's what
he's your all-star.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because, you and I sat in studio towards the end of March, end of spring training, and we talked about what our expectation was for Odubel Herrera. And I have to feel like he's within our expectations. I mean, he's right there. But to your point, I think to the people, I don't think many people saw this coming.
No, I think he was more of an afterthought than most people. I mean, you think about Franco. I mean, that was the big guy we would all talk about and expected a lot from him. We're getting it, more now than we were. He struggles at times, and that's fine. But the most consistent player on this team has been Odubel Herrera. And I think if you ran a poll on that before the season, I don't think he would be the guy that people think would be the most consistent. And I know all the extra that comes with him, and I get that. And some people don't like some of the things he does. But in terms of our best player, he's been our best player, and that's probably surprising most people.
Oh, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. I think in terms of the masses, I'm sure a lot of people expected him to be up there. But I think a lot of people thought this team was going to, as Mike Franco goes, so go the Phillies. And that hasn't been the case until the past week and a half.
No, yeah, it hasn't. And now the guy's hit the cover off the ball, and he's carried his team a little bit. But through that whole process, Herrera's still done what Herrera's done. So that's a surprise to me. Now, on the mound, is Eichhoff a surprise? Maybe a little bit. I mean, I don't think we're getting more than we thought we could get out of him. I mean, I think he's pitched pretty well. He's been really good. I mean, 3.3 on run average in your first year in the big leagues. I mean, all that I'll take. So, I mean, I think if he was under a 3, it would be a bigger surprise. But I think Eichhoff's right where we thought he was going to be. I mean, I think you thought he was going to be right around this area.
Yeah, I think the surprise to me with Eichhoff is the ERA. The 6-9 record, I think he's pitched to a little bit of tough luck. I mean, if you got a 3.3 ERA and you're 6-9, first thing that tells me is, number one, you're staying in ball games long enough to get decisions. So, tip of the cap to him right there. 17 games started, 15 decisions. I mean, that's staying on the mound for a while. He's got 103 innings pitched. The ERA is probably a little better than I thought it was going to be. I figured him to be 3.8, 3.9, around 4. So the ERA is a little surprising, but everything else, I mean, Eichhoff is one of those guys that after last year, you kind of said, okay, is this what he is? Is he a guy who's going to be just a rock solid number 3, number 4, but you don't really see him climbing up the rotation? And I think that's what he's pitching to. Is, on this staff, he probably looks a little better than he is, but 6-9 with a 3.3 ERA, that's a solid number 3.
No, it is. I think if I'm looking for surprises the other way, I lean towards Aaron Nola. A guy who came into the season, in most people's eyes as the ace of the staff, even though Helgson got the ball game 1. But I think to most people, we thought that was Aaron Nola, and he lived up to it for a good amount of time. But, you talk about a guy in 96 innings who's given up 100 hits, and guys are batting 262 against him. That's problematic.
Well, the issue that I have with him, and I don't have any issue with anything that you just said, but this is a guy who at one point this season threw 24 consecutive scoreless innings. This is a guy who literally 3 weeks ago had an ERA that was still under 4. And now he's sitting here at 5-8, 4.69 ERA, and he gets scratched from his last start before the All-Star break because he needs a mental break. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with them scratching him, but this is not the kid that I watched at Reading and Lehigh Valley just paint black, work off of his fastball, spot the curve, spot the changeup. This kid has fallen so in love with his off-speed pitch that he's lost his fastball. He really has. And if he can go back to working off of the fastball, then maybe we'll see him turn it around.
Well, maybe it's simply when the fastball starts getting hit, you shy away from
right.
it. And then you're getting yourself in trouble with your off speeds now, and that's just a trickle-down effect. But you're right. He's got from all big league pitchers, you need to establish your fastball early in games.
I would love it if he just studied what Zach Eflin did last night. Zach Eflin, 92 pitches, complete game, 6-hitter, made one mistake, gave up the home run to Enciarte. But everything he did was working off the fastball. Fastball in, fastball away, off speed. Double up on the off speed, fastball in. These guys can't be afraid to pitch inside, and they can't be afraid to pitch the contact. And I think when the team isn't scoring runs, they're afraid to pitch to contact. Now all of a sudden you see that over the last 2 weeks, the Phillies are starting to rake. Now maybe pitching to contact isn't such a bad thing.
Well, especially for Noah. Noah's got to live down in the zone. You got to spot his pitches, and when he's not, this is sort of what you see. Now, what's really going to be telling is how he battles through this and who he becomes out of it. Is this Gavin Floyd? Is this Cole Hamels?
Right.
So, who comes out of this? How does he come out mentally is the big question. And that's – it's not the end of the world if he doesn't, to be honest with you, because there's another pup down there who's ready to come up too, and that's Jake Thompson.
There's a couple of them, actually.
Yeah, and, doesn't matter which guys pan out here. You just need a couple to be top-of-the-rotation type pitchers.
If you were making that decision, would you have scratched him?
Well, it depends what talks you're having with him behind closed doors.
Okay.
How does he feel? Because if I go to a guy and I have no intentions of scratching, but I bring it up, maybe give you a mental rest, and he's okay with that, well, then I got my answer right there. Now I got to give him a mental rest because you don't want the ball. So it just depends on his reaction to it.
Yeah, see.
Now, I'm not saying he's not coming in and saying, hey, I want the ball.
No, I
don't know. We don't know what happened behind closed doors, but what we do know is it was probably as simple as, them saying, hey, we're going to shut you down for a game, and him really having – maybe he begged for the ball and they just weren't going to have it.
Well, for me, it's kind of a double-edged sword because, he throws that game Saturday against Kansas City, and he gets hit around early, but then all of a sudden, by all accounts, he finds something. And he settles in, and when they took him out of the game, he didn't want to come out. So I've always been a big believer in, are you able to find something, during the course of a game? And to me, just bringing up that line score from the Kansas City game, he gave up the homer to Kendrys Morales early. So he gives up 5 in the second, and then cruises the rest of the way. And by all accounts, he didn't want to be scratched, and they did it anyway. So, do they do it to light a fire under him? Do they do it because they think they know what he needs better than he knows what he needs? I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting discussion.
Well, I mean, it's good if he doesn't want to come out and he wants to pitch, and that's a positive thing.
Here's the way that I may have attacked it was, okay, you want the ball so bad, fine, we're going to give you the ball in Colorado. And it's Colorado. You may get ripped around again. But if this start in Colorado doesn't go well, when we come back from the All-Star break, we're doing things our way, not your way. And our way may have wound up in a trip back to Lehigh Valley for a few weeks just to get his head screwed on straight. Get some outs and have some success and try to build on that.
Well, you're skipping the Colorado start, which is probably good for him.
Right, but I mean, it's because he was their first round draft pick. Is he exempt from going back down?
Oh, he is in my eyes. You can't do it. You can't do it. He's got to battle his way through up here. Going down does nothing for him. Oh, he gets I understand what you're saying. He gets some outs, great, blah 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 blah. But he's still got to come back and pitch to big league hitters. He's dominated that level. There's nothing down here for him to do anymore.
Okay.
So the only thing left for him to do is figure this out. And the only way he's going to figure it out is by staying up here and just figuring it out. But to your point, to skip the Colorado start and then having the All-Star break, that really can refresh the arm a little bit. Maybe I'm not saying dead arm, but just fatigue.
Oh,
a little
possible.
fatigue and give the guy, rest him a little bit. There's no reason. I mean, he's starting close to 100 innings already. Give him one start off because then it takes you into the All-Star break and having that downtime. So you have a couple extra, a couple extra weeks there and that you can work some things out mentally.
Right, and I agree
with it. So.
I'm not opposed to it. I just think there's a couple of different ways it could have gone. And to your point, we don't exactly know what's going on behind closed doors there.
No, we don't. But we assume he doesn't. Listen, we assume he wants to start and he doesn't want to give up the ball. And if that's the decision they make, I don't think the few weeks off hurt the kid. I think it hurts the kid more if you send him down. So this is their way of not sending him down, but just letting him take a step back for a second. Because sometimes when you keep going out and the routine's there and you're struggling, there's no way sometimes out of that. Right. So, but a step back can maybe he can see things from a different perspective, catch his breath, and come back and get back to the guy, a resemblance of the guy that we saw earlier in the year.
Now, to the coaching staff's credit, I'm not the biggest Bob McClure fan in the world, but I will give Bob McClure a lot of credit here because he's doing everything that he possibly can to help this kid get right, including pulling his bullpen coach, who was a major league pitching coach, out of the bullpen, having him in the dugout during starts from Morgan, Velasquez, Eichhoff, Nola. I mean, basically the only one that he's not in the dugout for is Hellickson. So that you can basically have two pitching coaches watching these kids and putting their heads together and trying to figure out how they can make these kids better. And for McClure to more or less just kind of swallow his pride and say, you know what, there might be a better way to do this, and I'm going to get another set of eyes on these kids. I give McClure all the credit in the world, and certainly for Eichhoff and Velasquez, it hasn't hurt anything. The key question is, can they get Nola turned around?
Can they get Nola turned around? And, Thompson's on his way soon.
Right.
Real soon. And if they can't get him turned around, listen, this is how I think about it. I look at Velasquez, and I will continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. He is a closer.
He's your closer.
He is a closer.
You want him to be the closer.
I mean, he is the stuff he has translates better to the back end. He doesn't get out of 5 or 6. So that's great as your fifth starter, but why waste that? I can find 5, I can find a fifth starter somewhere. But I can also translate a guy who's a pup into the pen, and he comes in with back end of the rotation stuff, which leaves Nola, Eichhoff, Eflin, Thompson, Lively, all them guys. It opens up that 5-man rotation for these kids to come up and pitch a little bit.
Right, but here's the thing.
Once you make the move, you can't go back.
Right, but I
know that.
I wouldn't have a problem with them if they want to bring up Thompson and they want to go to a 6-man rotation until Hellickson gets traded, because he is going to get traded.
Yeah, he's going to get dealt.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't disagree with you that Velasquez has closer stuff, but the problem is I'm not ready to make that jump yet, because when I look at Velasquez, and I talked about this with Zach back while you were on your honeymoon, I see a lot of Kurt Schilling. I see that same...
From Velasquez?
Yeah. That similarity of, early in his career, the stuff was just electric, but he couldn't get through the 6th inning. And then all of a sudden he started to get it.
Oh, I agree that your endurance will grow and you'll get better, and you should get better.
But it's not just the endurance.
It's everything. It's mentally. It's everything.
The mental of... I can't go.
I don't have to strike out 10 and 5.
I can't go 96 from Jump Street because I need some bullets in the in the chamber.
Oh, I think you can go 96 from Jump Street.
Innings 7, 8, and 9.
But this is what it is. You can go 96 from Jump Street if you're not running full counts.
All right,
to strike guy out. That's the issue. Control is the issue.
Yeah.
It's not about his stuff. His stuff's lights the hell out. But it comes down to, I think we can agree on control. So not running full counts to strike guy out.
He can't nibble.
No, go get him.
If you got that kind of stuff, you got to just go get him.
But I think that's what he's thinking, that he has to nibble in a way because he's trying to last the game. I don't know what he's thinking, but all I know is he's got that back end of the bullpen lights out shit. Now, if that ever happens or comes to fruition, I don't know. But with all the arms coming up, I mean, I'm not going to trade him.
It could.
Yeah, I'm not going to trade him.
Well, put it this way. I mean, if
but you got to get there first. I'm not there
right,
yet.
but I mean, if they come back from the All-Star break, and all of a sudden you got trade talks for Hellickson, trade talks for Jeanmar Gomez, am I ready to go to Hector Neris as my closer? No, probably not. Even though he does have some damn good stuff.
He does. Agreed.
But if they get into a situation where they go to him, similar to what they did with Brett Myers back in 2006, 2007, 2008, and said, hey, listen, kid, we know that you've got electric stuff, but we also think you could be a balls-to-the-wall closer. And he says, you know what? Let's give it a whirl. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
No, I'm looking at a guy who's only thrown, because of the L stint, but he's thrown 72 innings, 24 walks in 72. That's where we're talking about the control. But, you have the 87 strikeouts in 72 innings.
Yeah, you're over a strikeout an inning.
That's
closer stuff.
That's closer stuff, but you can be a starter. I'm not saying the guy can't be a starter. I don't want people to misinterpret me. He can be a starter. I like him as a starter, but if I got all these arms and I got to see what I have at the big league level, that's when I go to him and say, hey, I love you as a starter. I'm not saying you can't come back. But there's guys like Jonathan Papelbon, for instance, who came up as a starter, had starter stuff, but just translated better to the back end. And that's what I see here. I mean, he's talking about Ethan Martin as that guy because he had 4 pitches and he was hard. Everything's hard. It's Velasquez because he's actually a good pitcher. Ethan Martin stunk. Vincent Velasquez can flat out deal it, but you got to get there, Michael, like we talked about. So
dude, I loved me some Ethan Martin until he got hurt 12 times.
Yeah. That's why I say he stinks.
Well, let's take a look at the big picture real quick.
Yeah.
So you got the Phils right now sitting at 40 and 46. All-Star break is the mythical halfway point. So let's just rewind about a half a week. Friday night, game 81 puts them at exactly the halfway point in the season. 4-3 win over Kansas City put them at 36 and 45. On pace for 72 wins. I believe prior to the season, I had them at 78. I think you had them at 80, give or take.
Sure.
So
I don't know where I had them.
So we're
probably right around there.
We're in the neighborhood, but they then rattle off. They go 4-1, and they're now on pace for 75. So boys, keep it up. But I think the thing that's maddening about this team, and it probably shouldn't be, given that they're so young, is they had a shaky first week. Then all of a sudden they found their groove basically through the back half of April into the middle of May. And then they went in the tank again. But if you start from today and you work backwards, they swept Atlanta. They took 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. They swept Arizona in Arizona. They lost 2 out of 3 to San Francisco. Every one of them was a one-run game. They lost 2 out of 3 to Minnesota. 2 of the games they lost, they scored 10 and 6. The game they won, they scored 7. So that trip to Minnesota, I'd actually thrown something up on Facebook the other day that it was basically the old Charlie Manuel hit and weather line, where, the hit and weather came a little late this year, but 2 weeks ago Tuesday, they went to Minnesota, and they've just been raking ever since. So, is this going to be a team that goes through the streaks like that where, either the pitching is going to carry them or the hitting is going to carry them, and if they can put them both together at the same time, do they make a run to get back into the wild card picture, or is this, they are what we think they are?
I think they are what we think they are. I think they're going to have spurts, but who can tell at the end of the day? But I think they really are who we think they are. I think they're going to have spurts where they play good ball, like now 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 4 straight, all that good stuff, and then they're going to come back down to reality a little bit because at the end of the day, they can't compete with the big ones.
Right.
They can go sweep the Braves, and that's a great job. Like you sweep anybody, I'm all in. You play well against Kansas City, banged up team, but you still go out and you win the series. But they can't play with Washington, Chicago, San Fran. They lost some one-run games, but they still lost the game.
Right.
They hung in, which is promising, but we still can't beat them teams consistently. That's why this year, no. Next year, I'm all in to try to make a run to the wild card and be in contention. But that's why I'm so adamant on bringing all the kids up so I can sort of see what I have right now.
Well, it's funny because you guys did that show on Agree to Disagree last week or the week before where you were asking the question, should Nick Williams and J.P. Crawford be up? And I had responded on the Facebook post, and I said Nick Williams, yes. J.P. Crawford, absolutely not. And no sooner did I say J.P. Crawford, absolutely not, now all of a sudden kid's hitting the ball. The Nick Williams situation is a little more interesting.
Well, because now you have 2 crumbs hit.
Well, the Nick Williams situation, when you get benched 3 times in a 2-week span for just being a jack-off, obviously you can't have that. But what I'd said to a couple people was, to me, he's bored.
Yeah, they both are.
I just think, I think right now, he's so over the minor leagues that he's just kind of being a douche. And even though you don't want to reward that type of behavior, the fastest way to snap him out of it is to call him up.
Is to call him up. And then you have the problem of these 2 mutts that all of a sudden want to start hitting now. And then that puts you in a predicament.
Ashy and Borges.
And now you have to wait a little bit longer. But in terms of J.P. Crawford.
Right, but even on that note, poor Tyler Goodell. The kid was getting regular playing time and all of a sudden started just raking. And then Borges gets hot. Ashy comes off the DL. Tyler Goodell's back on the bench, and the batting average drops 30 points in 3 weeks.
Not all these guys are built for that.
No, he's not. He's not a bench player.
But talking about Velasquez real quick, and then we'll move on from him. Sweep's chiming in on just a couple guys that we already know. Smoltz closed, started, did both. Eck, when he first came in, was a starter. So, there's some guys who had closer stuff that were starters. Now, Smoltz, both of them started for a little bit, but both became great closers.
Well, Smoltz went back though.
He
was the starter, closed, and then went back to starter.
Yeah, so he did a little bit of everything. But in terms of Velasquez, and then Pap's another one.
Right. Brett Myers was one.
Yeah, so it's possible for these guys to make that move if you have enough arms to pull it off.
Right.
And that's what we're hoping on. We're hoping to have enough arms to be able to make that move or force our hand to make that move.
Well, the young gun who's come up pretty quickly, and I don't want to say he's under the radar, but he's not the name that everybody was tossing around, was Ben Lively.
Yeah.
The kid was 7-0 at Reading. He went to Lehigh Valley and basically turned into Eflin. Pitches to contact. He goes 7-8 innings every night. He'll give up his 2 earned, but Lehigh Valley will score 3. He'll go give up his 3 earned. Lehigh Valley will score 6. It's like the kid he understands the game. He understands the situation. He knows that if he's got a lead, what he can play with, what he can't play with. And when he's in a 0-0 game in the 6th inning, all of a sudden you see that bulldog mentality, and he goes lights out again.
Well,
And I think
him and Thompson.
Right, but I think the whole thing with Appel and the injury, and Lively just kind of saw that and said, well, screw that. I'm about to leapfrog this guy.
Yeah, you got to. And that's what you want. I think Thompson's like right there.
Oh, yeah, Thompson is right there.
And Lively's right underneath him in terms of call-ups. Yeah, they're right there. If Elkson gets moved, I think Thompson's the first one up. Is Morgan still in the rotation now?
Nah, Morgan's working out of the bullpen.
Good. So injuries or whatever, and then I think Lively's the next guy up. So Thompson's on his way. Lively's right after him. I think Thompson's got more of that front of the rotation stuff, but I think Lively fits in as a good 3, 4, but a legitimate 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I like some of this stuff.
Have a lot of 3s and 4s in there, right?
They
though,
do,
Mike?
but they need a couple of these guys. I think can step up.
Thompson's got to be 1-2 type stuff.
Yeah.
He has to be. He just has to be, and he has that kind of stuff. Which the whole reason you didn't take any of the pitchers in this year's draft
was
in my
because
opinion,
you had him. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have him, and I think he's that good.
The thing that I have to laugh at, and every time I see him pitch, last year they have Severino Gonzalez who goes. He's out on the mound, and he's about 150 pounds, and he looked like a stiff breeze was going to blow him over.
Yeah.
And now this year, they bring him back. Bring him back up from Lehigh Valley, and he's like 175, 180, and he's throwing gas. And granted, he still stinks, but that's the kind of stuff you like to see. Like, they figured out where that kid was going to be best used, and they developed him. And they basically said, look, you're not a starter at the major league level, but if you could put on 25 pounds and you could get 5 more miles an hour on your fastball, you might have a future. And he did it. And now Edebry Ramos comes up, and he's throwing gas.
Yeah,
Ramos they got all these guys, and we still haven't even scratched the surface on Jimmy Cordero, who's still down there, and Edward Mujica, who we thought was going to be a bust, who requested his release in spring training, only to come back with his tail between his legs and re-sign, leads the International League in saves, and he could be on his way at any point in time.
Well, how about this? And we'll talk about it more, but just for the people, Philly has done a great job signing young Latin American players.
They have,
because
yes.
they have the most pull. Because they finished last, they have the most. They can pull from. They have more. I don't know how you phrase it.
International signing bonus money.
Yeah, they have more money or whatever to throw around, and a lot of 16, 17-year-old kids from Venezuela. They're doing a lot. They're spending a lot of time in Venezuela. I just want to throw that out to people. Not a lot of time in Dominican. All these players are Venezuelan players. It's just interesting, and I actually like it because you're pulling these kids from the same country. I think it makes a transition for all these kids to come over easier. They come over together. I just think the whole process makes it easier bringing kids from the same spot, if that makes any bit of sense.
No, it does. It absolutely
and
does.
And they're loading up on Venezuelan kids. Another shortstop, outfielders, a guy who has top of the rotation stuff, supposedly.
Well, they
three guys in the top 40 in baseball,
right.
America.
And then they had the kid, was it yesterday or the day before, who the Red Sox signed last year, and then the Red Sox basically had to forfeit his rights, and the Phillies just swooped in and said, okay, thank you very much. And they say he's basically the Latino version of Mickey Moniak. So it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Well, let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue talking Phils and everything else. We'll get into, at some point, the NBA and all the free agency. And can there be a strike? Will there be a strike at some point? We'll talk about that later on the show. Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, all this coming up and more. Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here, a2dradio.com. And this segment has been brought to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. 703 Black Horse Pike, Glendora, New Jersey. 856-939-2030 or on the web, sportsoutletinc.com.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Romeo's Termite and Pest Control. Family owned and operated, Romeo's only employs the safest, most effective methods to rectify your situation. Whether it's at your house or at your commercial residence, no matter what the concern may be, they'll get the job done. Raccoons, squirrels, bed bugs, termites, you name it, they'll take care of it. Satisfaction guaranteed. Give them a call at 856-341-3927 or look them up on Facebook at Romeo's Pest Control or visit their website at www.romeospestcontrol.com, your local pest control provider. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Martino Roofing. With more than 15 years of roofing experience, they have all the services that you need, whether it's new construction, tear-offs, replacements, or re-roofs for your residential or commercial business. They will provide a detailed service in a timely and professional manner. So you can give them a call for a free consultation at 609-792-5103. Send them an email at martinoroofing@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.martinoroofingllc.com. The number again is 609-792-5103. Martino Roofing.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and founder of A2DRadio.com. What if I told you I knew the best caterer in the business? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It's Obie's Catering. You can contact Obie's Catering at cateringbyobi@yahoo.com or give Chris O'Brien a call at 856-534-8410. From graduations to wedding rehearsals to just if you need food cooked in your house. He'll do it all. He's trying to change the world one dish at a time. That's Obie's Catering. Chris O'Brien, 856-534-8410. Tell him Tommy A from A2DRadio.com sent you, and you'll get 20% off.
I'm going hungry.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
And we're back. Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
right here at A2DRadio.com. And like every Wednesday night, we're brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant. Find them right on the web, gibsonmayer.com. And this month, you got to check it out. BMW Atlantic City has challenged the sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. Lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience. It's closer than you think. BMW Atlantic City. Easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 in the Parkway. Online, BMWofAtlanticCity.com. And this breaking news we'll do here is brought to you by, we'll just give another one out, Scanzano Sports Center. You find them on the web, scanzanosports.com. Michael?
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't want to cut you short there, Tommy, but I'm like, I got ants in the pants over here. So, breaking news, former Philly and everybody's favorite man crush, Chase Utley, goes a career-high 6 for 6 today for the Dodgers in a 14-inning 6-4 loss. But that's not the big news. The big news is Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade has informed the team that he will not be returning to South Beach and will instead be taking his talents to the Windy City and signing with the Chicago Bulls.
Well, I believe, if I'm right, that's a going home party for Mr. Dwayne Wade.
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure Dwayne Wade is from Chicago or from Illinois, if I'm right.
I believe he is from Chicago and had played his college ball at Marquette, which is why the Bucks were thought to be in the running at one point as well.
Dwayne Wade, I'm pretty sure he's from there. Let me see if I can grab this real quick. See if it gives it to me. Of course not. Yep, born Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. We got sweeps on. We'll just keep them on hold for a second here. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a real good move for the Bulls right now. I like him going alongside Butler, but the fact that the Miami Heat let this guy out the door is just a shame. After everything this guy's done for that organization in terms of pay cuts, in terms of everything he's done, the winning he's done there. I said it earlier on Philly Fan Radio. I sat here and said that I don't think if Miami meets with him again, they let him out the door. Now, I don't know what happened, but Miami let him go. And that's poor on their end.
And this guy's like the king of South Beach, too. Like, the guy walks out of his house, and people genuflect on him down there. It's just, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. If you're just joining us, what we started with is who has been the 2016 Phillies' biggest first-half surprise? Let us know. Herrera, Gomez, Rupp, Eichhoff. Is it somebody else? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. David Navo chimes in and says, Cody Ashe. 272, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs.
David Navo, body of work.
820 OPS.
Dude's been up for a month.
Then he goes, last 15 games, he's hitting 314. Listen to me. Just like Mike said, I like what he's doing. I'm not a Cody Ashe guy. It's going to take me a while to become a Cody Ashe guy. I got to see longevity from Cody Ashe. He is not Chase Utley, who had 6 hits tonight. This is Cody Ashe. Stop confirming white with white and a short swing with a guy whose swing is a lot shorter than his and Chase Utley.
That's what I want to know, and we could even ask Sweeps about this when we get him on the line, but what is it with this Cody Ashe love from people? Like, I mean, it's not just Navo. It's Jay Selner. It's other people.
It's everybody.
It's other people on this station and guys on other stations.
I don't love him.
There is so much. He's an okay player. He's good. He's not great. He's a decent player on a bad team. He'd be the 25th man, maybe, on the 2008 Phillies.
Agreed. I mean, he's a bench player. That's what he is. He's a stick off the bench for me. But let's go to the phone lines. We got Sweeps. Sweeps, welcome in Tom and Mike AM in the PM.
Gentlemen.
What's up, Sweeps? Long time no speak, brother.
Michael, how do you like the studio, brother? It's coming along, right?
It's fantastic. I love the new digs.
It's spacious for us big fellas. It's spacious.
We can spread the legs a little bit here.
Absolutely. For us space eaters, I mean, we need a big place.
Sweeps, let me ask you the question.
Let
me ask you the question at hand. Who's been the biggest surprise of the Phillies so far? Who do you have? I mean, we have Herrera, Eichhoff, Rupp, and Gomez on the list. I mean, do you have somebody else, or is one of them guys a surprise for you?
No, probably Gomez. But I mean, kind of just like Mike said. I mean, like when you're closing on a bad team, it's I don't know how much that means, but I mean, they're still going out and anything. I don't take anything away from what Gomez has done. He's been fantastic. You know what I mean? And obviously offensively, Herrera, I can do without his antics and this kind of this bullshit that some of his little bullshit things that he's doing.
Sweeps, if you could see the look on Tommy's face when you said that, it's like you smacked him right upside the head. Because I say the same thing all the time.
He's got a picture of him and Herrera in his locker with a big heart around it. I know how Tommy operates.
I'm wearing the same chain he wears.
I gotta get Tommy a Herrera jersey.
Tommy's got a Jerry Kill wick right in his bag, and he's gonna put it on at any moment.
You guys both know my love affair for the guy, so
But that's kind of where I'm at right now. But you know what I mean? Like listen, Cameron Rupp's been great too. I mean, it's I don't take anything away from him. So it's a pretty good list you guys threw out. I didn't expect anything less from you guys. You know, another stellar beginning to the show. You know, I just got home from a tough L, 8-7 walk off double, bottom of the seventh, 2 outs. Couldn't get the last out. You know what I mean? So
that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah,
Sweeps. Let me ask you the question that we got into just a little bit right before Tommy brought you on the line. What is it with the Cody Ashley love?
With the love or
with the love. With all these people that all of a sudden, like, you know, the guy has one good month and all of a sudden Cody Ashley's the next coming. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, listen, you couldn't I couldn't pick him out of a candy lineup. That's number one. Number two, yeah, I mean, listen, the guy's been up. You know, the guy's played for at least 2 seasons now. You know, maybe not full seasons, but we've seen his act before. So I'm certainly not getting excited over a small sample size. Kind of like our partner, Big Willie. Big Willie's, got a little bit of a love affair for Ashley because of his extra base hits. I don't know.
Because he's an idiot, Sweep. That's why. Because he's a flat-out idiot, and I hope he hears this. Because he's a moron for this love affair. I mean, really, guy hits a homer on Sunday, and you talk about puffer fish. I mean, this guy blew up to 600 pounds when he hit the homer. I mean, this chat just came out so far to smack me in the face. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, Michael, I don't know where it's coming from. Anybody that compare, even puts him in the same sentence as Utley should be fucking taken away their, excuse my language, take their baseball card away and take the microphone away.
Are you new here? Are you new?
I love the F-bomb.
Sweeps is like, I'm on the phone. I'm F-bomb exempt.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, come on. I mean,
you got to let him fire in the right spots.
This guy's still getting after it. Still getting after it in L.A. And like Tommy said, I mean, just because they're both white, I mean, let's get at it. I mean, let's blow a roll a little bit here. You know what I mean? Like I said, we root for the Phillies. We enjoy when they're playing well. Listen, they're getting on. They're up and down. This is a season of roller coasters. They played good for 2 months, and we kind of got excited. And they were what we thought they were. And then now, they're starting to hit the baseball a little bit. The weather's breaking. 90, 95 degrees today, and they're starting to hit the baseball a little bit. So, listen, we're just enjoying. We're enjoying. Every second when they play well. That's all. And that's really all we can ask for. As guys that you two guys are more diehard than me, but I mean, Phillies on my second squad. So I root for them. I root for us. Right under there. Right under the Redbirds. I root for them every night. as long as they're not playing St. Louis, we're good.
Fair enough.
All right.
Did you right before? Sorry to cut you guys off. Right before I got on there, were you guys talking about Wade? What happened?
Yeah, we just talked about Wade. He went to the Bulls.
Wow. I mean, what a disgrace that the Miami Heat are. Like, you let this guy get out of town, and they were trying to lowball him. The last I saw yesterday was like they were offering like 2 years, $40 million. He wanted $50. He obviously knew he had offers from the Bulls for like $55 million or something crazy like that. And you're going to go there and absolutely lowball and nitpick one of your best players, in franchise history, man. The face of the organization.
Well, and how much does Hassan Whiteside hate this now? Because he had an offer on the table from the Lakers that he didn't take and came back to Miami because there were promises that Dwayne Wade was coming back. And now, arguably your second best player, Hassan Whiteside, is now basically stuck there with a deal that he probably doesn't want because Dwayne Wade's not there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, and then it all comes down to, like, once things get leaked, that's when guys get butthurt, and rightfully so. Wade should get butthurt. Like, he knew they were willing to restructure everybody in the building to fit Durant through the front door, right? And all Wade's saying is, listen, you guys were going to jump through hoops to get Kevin here, which I'm all for. But now that went out the window, give me my $50 million.
Right.
Let's stop talking about $10 million. $10 million, dude. Come on.
Well, I mean, I think they owed it to him too. I mean, all the pay cuts,
Like,
all
even
the
if
pay
he-
cuts.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, he did it for
Absolutely. I mean,
everybody. He took pay cuts to bring in LeBron. He took in pay cuts to bring in Bosh. He took pay cuts to sign Bosh to another long-term deal. He took a pay cut. I mean, the guy continued to give Miami a break, and when it came up to crunch time on their end, they weren't willing to give him a little extra money as almost like a severance package, essentially, to wrap his career up there, which is a shame. And right now on our Twitter page, you can vote. I don't know how it's worded, but it's which one's more shocking?
Which is the bigger shock?
What's the bigger shock? Wade leaving Miami. That's how I would word it, or Durant going to Golden State. I mean, both are pretty big shocks if you think about it. Durant a little bit more, but Wade definitely a shock. Because I said it earlier, Sweeps. I didn't think there was any chance of them letting him out the door, Miami. I didn't think there was any chance. I thought that they figured it out.
I mean, well, listen, and from his point of view, the way he looks at it, not only was he loyal and able to, restructure all his deals, like you said earlier, to get guys to come to town. In the last week, he's looking around the NBA and realizing that there's monopoly money falling from the sky. So how could you blame the guy for not saying, listen, come on, have a little respect here. These guys that are getting contracts couldn't hold my jock in 5 years when I'm pushing a wheelchair. Right? These guys couldn't hold my jock strap. Like Tyler Johnson, or whatever the hell his name is, gets $50 million or whatever he got. I mean, come on. These guys, so he's looking around the league saying, come on, this is dope. You know what I mean? Come on.
Well, Tommy, I don't want to step on your topic here, but I kind of want to go there with it. Is, Sweeps is talking about loyalty, and I'm almost looking at this now, going, well, I mean, there's no such thing as loyalty in the NBA right now, at least not this year and next year with these astronomical caps, because I think a lot of these guys know what could be on the table in 3 years, which kind of leads into what you were talking about on social media today. You want to dive into that a little bit?
Well, I just think you can't keep going up with the salary cap like this. I think you cannot continue to give guys, like a Nicholas Batum, who's a good player, 5 years, $120 million, expect to stay in business, or expect there not to be a strike of some sort.
Lockout,
something. I mean, something's going to happen, and I think Adam Silver wants it. I really do. I almost think he wants it because, I mean, it's flying up. I understand the money's there right now, but if this is skyrocketing again next year, I think there's going to be some owners around the league who aren't too happy about it.
Well, I mean, this is ridiculous.
Where's the revenue coming from this much?
Well, I'm right. It's the cap is 97 this year. It goes to 114 next year. You have 15 guys that count against your cap. This money is astronomical.
It can't continue.
Yeah.
It is absolutely astronomical.
No, it can't.
And then I'm reading the story the other day that they put Matthew Dellavedova's contract up against Des Bryant's contract. Granted, two entirely different sports. But when you've got Matthew Dellavedova making more money at his, position in his chosen profession than a guy like Des Bryant, there is something wrong with that structure.
Well, not only him, Solomon Hill. Solomon Hill, a good player to you. 4 years, 48.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's more money than Dellavedova. So he's making more money than Des too. I mean, I understand the point of it. It's just too much money getting thrown around, and it's going to be a lockout from the owners. It's going to happen because some owners want this kind of money, but most owners in small markets can't do this game. They just can't afford it. How are you competing with everybody else? It's going to ruin the league. The league's already, in some people's eyes, a bad product. Now all you're doing is bringing them super teams in, which is great playoff time. But during the regular season, what good is it for the league have Golden State play Philadelphia and then blow the doors off? What good is that for the league? It's no good for the league.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why the NFL's the best product, Sweeps, because there's parity in the league. Because year in and year out, any other team can come from nowhere and win. That's why the NFL is the product it is today, because you don't know year in and year out. The worst teams from last year can make a jump this year and be a 500 team or sneak into a wild card. That stuff doesn't happen in the NBA. That stuff rarely happens in baseball, too. A little more. I mean, it happens. But most of the time, the teams that are the best are the teams that are there.
I mean, you get like a guy like DeMar DeRozan, who nobody is killing DeMar DeRozan because he re-signed with his team, and that's fine. But 5 years, $145 million?
Wow.
I mean, I mean, that's $29 million a year for a guy who's top 20 in the league, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe top 25?
Who was in the corner in the Cavs series. You know what I mean? Like he was nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? Like, Lowry takes all the heat because rightfully so, because he was an absolute garbage can. I mean, he couldn't throw it in the he couldn't throw it in the ocean, but DeRozan was tiny too in that series.
Right, but I mean, it's you look at these guys, and you have Bradley Beal who went back to the Wizards. He's not worth $128 million. You got DeRozan who went back to the Raptors, not worth $145. Andre Drummond stayed with the Pistons, not worth $130. Nicholas Batum, stuck with the Hornets, not worth $120. Jordan Clarkson stayed with the Lakers. Maybe his upside is $50 million. Hassan Whiteside stays with the Heat. Is he worth $98 million? Probably. But then mixed in that whole debacle there, you get Timothy Mozgov. 4 years, $64 million with the Lakers. He's not worth $16 million a year. It's ridiculous. Ish Smith, 3 years, $30 million with the Pistons. Ish Smith isn't a $10 million a year player. And the Durant thing is just in another galaxy that we'll get to in a little bit.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Ish Smith, that's his 10th team. I mean, it's just crazy. Like you said, like Tommy said before I go, great job by you guys again. But like Tommy said, something's got to be done. If not, they're going to get locked out because, I mean, it's just like in baseball. I mean, we see guys like we talked about on Sunday, guys like C.J. Wilson, and just a lot of bad contracts like that. But nothing like this where it's just where half the league is getting paid. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get your handful of bad contracts, in baseball, and somebody will get extended in football, and you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. But what's going on with these last couple weeks in the NBA is absolutely, historic and disgraceful. But something's got to be done.
No, and I get it that not only is there a salary cap, but there's also a salary floor, and there's a luxury tax that you have to pay or not a luxury tax, but a penalty you have to pay if you don't meet the salary floor. I get that. But I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this list, and I'll throw out a name that all three of us know very well: Evan Turner, 4 years, $70 million. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the Evan Turner works out better than the other ones, though. I mean,
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at Evan Turner and wrap my head around 3 years, $70 million when I see some of the other shit. John Lawyer, 4 years, $42 million with the Pistons. Stop it. He stinks. I mean, we haven't got the Eric Gordon memo yet that the guy's never healthy. 4 years, $53 million with the Rockets. I mean, I can't believe it.
I love it. The memo.
It's like nobody does their homework. You know what I mean? Just like we were talking about Hamilton. Like before you sign Hamilton to all that money, dude, you realize that the guy went through 3 years of straight heroin in his body. You know what I mean? Like Eric Gordon, same thing. Besides, not drugs, not comparing the two, but the guy's never healthy. I mean, he should get a 1 year contract if anything.
Oh yeah, most of these guys should be on 1 year deals. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. I bet I'd be willing to bet with the cap going up as much as it is next year, a lot of these guys would have been happy to take a 1 year deal and try to break the bank again next year, but the owners kind of had to put their foot down somewhere.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, you scroll through this list. There's a few guys that are on 1 and 2 year deals, but the vast majority of this list is guys that are 3, 4, 5 year deals. You're not seeing anybody who's signed for more than 5, and you're barely seeing anyone who's signed for more than 4. But on the flip side, these guys with the 1 and 2 year deals are guys who you would have expected to get 1 or 2 year deals.
No, agreed. I agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And what's funny to me is David West. Everyone talks about how this guy has, he's put away more money through his career than any other player that they, possibly remember in the NBA because he's in pursuit of the championship. 1 year, $1.55 million with the Warriors. He's the anti-everything.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah,
I look around. That's a guy I would actually give money to.
Yeah, nobody's crying for you, David West.
He just wants to get his ring and go home.
That's it. Take his ball and go home. That's about where it stands with David West. But, we'll see where – we'll see. That's a good signing by them, though. I actually like that, the David West signing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, dude, nobody's crying for him.
Yeah.
I mean, but, they need some role guys. They actually need to fill out the roster, so they had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
They got rid of everybody to make room for Durant, so they had to fill out the roster somewhere. But no, it's always a pleasure. Love the show. I'm gonna go tuck Bianca in, but keep up the good work, gentlemen.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you. I'll see you Sunday.
Thanks, Sweeps. Good to talk to you, buddy.
All right, later, guys.
Later.
See you, Michael. All right, Nails.
That was Sweeps chiming in. What we'll do, we're going to continue our NBA. We'll continue our NBA talk. We got to get into Ben Simmons as well and the Sixers. We'll take our second break here and our last break, and then we'll run you through to the end. If you're just joining us, please go on, vote. Let us know who has been the 2016 Phillies' biggest first-half surprise. Is it Odubel Herrera, Gomez, Rupp, Eichhoff, somebody else? Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. This is Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
Right here at a2dradio.com. And this segment was brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. BMW of Atlantic City has challenged its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. Lease a certified, pre-owned, elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive. Just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience. It's closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 of the Parkway. Online at BMWofAtlanticCity.com.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real talk, A2DRadio.com.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and operator of A2DRadio.com and host of Agree to Disagree. If I want to go check out a ball game, there's no better place than the Phillies Sports Bar located 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey. With over 40 plasma and HD TVs, a brick oven, a two-story deck, the Sports Bar has surpassed everyone's expectations. From the one-of-a-kind sports memorabilia to life-size sports figures, the bar stays true to its name. The Philly Sports Bar will provide quality service along with outstanding variety of the finest liquors and well-known beers in a family-friendly environment while remaining true to what they are, the best darn sports bar. That's the Philly Sports Bar, located in Runnymede, New Jersey.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey guys, Rob Povia here from Fantasy Dominance Now and the Hockey Happy Hour here on A2DRadio.com. And I got a quick question for you. Is your home in need of remodeling? Well, contact Harry's Contracting at 609-638-6336. That's 609-638-6336. Harry Ernst is the owner, and he's fully insured and licensed. And his prices are so low, you'll think he's insane. Mention A2D Radio, and you get 15% off the estimate. And if you give Harry the job, tack on another 5% off for a total of 20% off the job. That is insane. Contact Harry Ernst at 609-638-6336 or email him at mrmustang02@verizon.net. Harry's Contracting. Insane home improvements.
Welcome back, Tom.
Mike
AM.
in the PM.
Right here at HUDradio.com. If you're just joining us, let us know who's been the biggest surprise for the Phillies in the first half of the year. Herrera, Eichhoff, Rupp, Gomez. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, HUD Radio is how you can find us. That's how we started the show. We broke down a lot of the stuff about the Phillies, disappointments, surprises, and just about playing right around where we thought they'd be playing. I don't think anything more.
You know what I meant to ask you about that was the one other thing that we wanted to talk about with the Phils, potential All-Stars. Were you okay with just Herrera, or did you think Rupp or maybe Gomez should have been an All-Star consideration as well?
I think I'm all right with it.
Okay.
There's so much talent out there. You're going to take it from a bad team. Probably not. It's really about, they'll take 2 or 3 from teams that are in contention more. So that's sort of just how it goes.
And the Cubs kind of screwed everybody on that, too.
Yeah, unless you have a guy just flat
that farce
out
of a vote.
hitting the cover off the ball that you can't keep out. Most of the time, you're going to take 1 from a team that's average at best.
Right.
And that's just how it worked out. Unless you have, like, a big name,
I'm good with that. All right.
Yeah, me too. And this is brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. Every Wednesday night, they are our show sponsor here on Tom and Mike AM in the PM, and you can reach them 215-369-3300 on the web, gibsonmayer.com. This will take us in. We'll talk a little Ben Simmons, Sixers Summer League, and just a little bit about the Sixers, Durant, and would you do the Westbrook deal? We'll get into that as well. But your first initial reaction from watching Ben Simmons, and I know he cramped up, but before the cramp, before the hold of the breath,
I committed a sports talk radio show host party foul on Monday, and I did not watch, and I'll tell you why. I'm at a party on Monday, 4th of July, hanging with my peeps the way I always do, and there was probably maybe a dozen kids there ranging in age from 18 to 9. I swear to you, Tommy, when that game started, the world stopped. Every single kid at that party was in front of the TV. And God bless Ben Simmons. God bless the Sixers. That's fantastic. I love that he has generated so much buzz that these kids are willing to basically walk out of a 4th of July party to go watch this game. To me, it's a summer league game. It means nothing. I don't even want the kid to play. I don't want him getting hurt in the summer league and missing the entire season. But it's not just that. I'm sitting there later on that night after the party, and I'm scrolling through my social media feed. And I understand that it was kind of shitty weather on Monday, and the parties kind of died down a little early. Some of the fireworks got canceled, stuff like that. But there were so many people on social media tweeting and Facebooking about Ben Simmons, and I was just like, my God, it's crazy. It is the first summer league game for a kid who was drafted 2 weeks ago. And the way that people were dissecting his game, man, it's
that's the way we live now.
It's a little crazy.
That's the way we live now, and that's why summer league's big. But the thing that I heard out of all that is Ben Simmons is bringing basketball back to the city of Philadelphia,
and that is a good thing, no question.
And that's a great thing. Now, was I locked in Monday? Yeah, I was locked in because I just wanted to see this kid in our jersey and just see some of the things he does. Because no, you can't take too much from it, and you can't take too little from it. It's got to be a fine line on what you're pulling from this. But what I pulled is vision. Court vision at 6'10". That's what I took out of it. And I'm not going to overreact to 3 from 9 from the field. I'm not going to overreact to cramps. I'm not going to overreact to nothing more than just what my eyes told me. And what my eyes told me is this kid's a special breed. That could all end. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop watching this kid. That's how
I hear you.
But what I'm not going to do is go on social media and
anoint him the next coming.
Yeah, crown over Summer League. But this is the next coming. This is what he has been anointed to be. For a long time we've heard about Ben Simmons. and everything he brings to the table.
Well, I got
he's a specimen.
Yeah,
So
I got to tell you, I mean, I read all the feedback on social media, the hysteria and everything like that. Yeah, I went on NBA Network at 2:30 in the morning and watched the condensed game. I'm not a crumb.
No,
Come
you
on.
got to. Yeah,
I know what I'm doing here, but it was.
Could I use not watching the whole game? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I could have saved myself some time in my life.
Was it about what I expected? Yeah, maybe.
Just I see the ability to handle the basketball, rebound, transition offense, the ability to dish to wherever he wants to on the floor.
And is he going to play better with better teammates
No
around
question.
him? No question.
I mean, the unselfishness early on that I saw out of him, but
Maybe a little too unselfish at times.
yeah, and
I'd like to see maybe a little more aggression.
and I
You get that.
that's first game jitters and stuff like that. I get all that. It takes time, and you can't overreact to summer league. But you can look at a player and say this kid's got all the tools.
Could you imagine if Allen Iverson had played in the summer league when the Sixers?
Oh,
drafted
got
him?
everybody with that cornrows right after the first game. He would have went globally a lot quicker than he did.
Oh my goodness!
But that's just what the league is now. And it actually makes it fun and it keeps people locked in because if you have a lottery pick, you want to see him play in the summer.
Right.
You sort of want to get an idea. But you can't overvalue it. Like, is Christian Wood going to beat out Okafor now because the guy's having a good summer? Like, hell no.
Probably not.
No, not at all. Not going to jump on somewhere else maybe? Yeah, of course. So, everything being equal, it was just good to see the kid go out and play a little bit. And then then this is where the morons come in. And one of these guys on this station, and I don't give a rat's ass. Ralph Delvecchio texts me.
Well,
And he goes,
you realize as soon as you mention that name, I could just start and not stop. But I'm not going to do that to you.
oh, I'll do it.
You go ahead.
He texted me after Simmons cramped up and said, oh, Ben Simmons needs to get his weight up. Or needs to stretch. Maybe Ben needs to stretch before the game. And I joked around, well, maybe just a vitamin water. And then he comes back and goes, he needs to get his weight up. And I said, get his weight up. Your boy's 100 pounds and Brandon Ingram soaking wet. All right, and then it goes back and forth. And, him telling me Ingram's a better player. And I said, where are you getting this at? Because you're a fraud Lakers fan from Philadelphia that you're going to just assume Ingram's a better player? Like, everybody in America and Canada and Australia, for God's sake, thinks that Ben Simmons is a better player. And then he goes to like, oh, what are you upset about 2001? Dude, you were like 11, if that. You were younger than that. You might have been like 7. So
Wait, I'll do the math on that. It's 2016. He just turned 20. So in 2001, he was 3?
3, yeah.
4,
Yeah,
maybe?
but he got it. Am I upset about it? This is what I deal with from these Lakers crumbs that want to try to tell me after a summer league game that Ingram's better.
Well, this is
the
the same kid that I said committed radio suicide
Yes.
because he thinks Johnny Manziel is a legend.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And I told him.
Way to build a brand, Ralph. Way to build a brand.
To your point, I told him, talk to me when the lights go on. Talk to me when the lights go on. This means nothing.
Right.
I'm just watching because I want to see my guy play. I'm not watching because I'm going to over-evaluate him. I just want to see.
No,
So-
you were watching because you didn't want to go to a barbecue.
Well, that too.
You ordered out. You got your
Yeah, I don't.
you got your food delivered. And
I hate
and
all
you
that.
sat
You know
on the
that.
couch all day.
You know that. I hate all that.
I know
I'm
you-
un-American.
I know you do.
I hate it all. You can, whatever. Fireworks are all the same.
I'd be like, yo, Tom, I'm going to a party. There's a pool. You want to come? Nah,
Nah.
I'm good.
I've seen one firework. I've seen them all. Right? Happy 4th of July, everybody. But, I mean, I'm not rolling out. Man, just don't do it. And you got to find parking. It's a mess. And it's just all hassle. It's all hassle.
I love you.
Well, that's, it's just how I do things,
That's how we roll.
I guess. But I'm excited to see, when the season starts and see how he plays. But right now, you can't take too much out of it.
Nah.
That's saying, where do you want to go, Durant, or you want to talk a little bit about the possible Westbrook situation,
Now,
which is hypothetical, obviously.
Let's do Durant first. Go to Westbrook, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, I'm going to take a little book out of Stephen A. Smith because I completely agree with him. He's a coward. And I say he's a coward because this is the top 5 player in this league, maybe top 3 to some people. And you are 1 win shy of going to the NBA Finals. And not only, okay, you don't want to sign back with Oklahoma City. You can do whatever you want. But to sign with the team that took you out makes me tell you you have to look in the mirror about who you are as a player now. And I need to look at you again and understand what kind of player you are because that's soft to me. That is so soft to leave and go there. Listen, I know it's about the ring, but at the end of the day, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. He's in a lose-lose situation going here. All right? There's other places he could have went. He's leaving a top 5 player, a player that I sat on here, and I'll say it again, in Russell Westbrook, that is better than Steph Curry. He's a better overall player than Steph Curry. He can do more on the court. He left that guy to chase the ring. And I hate that. I hate it. The LeBron thing was different. LeBron burned Cleveland, okay? And then Cleveland burned all LeBron. But LeBron went to Miami. The only thing was there was Wade. They then brought Bosh in. It's a different situation. I mean, he didn't go to the team that knocked him out. You know, he's going to the team that beat him one game away from going to the NBA Finals, and he runs to that team.
All right, so let me ask you this. Let's say it wasn't Golden State, but it was San Antonio who offers him the same deal.
Fine.
And he rolls.
Fine.
It's fine?
Yep.
Interesting.
It's just a team that just beats you. What does it say about you as a player? You don't think you're good enough to beat them. That's sad to me. That's sad.
But all right, but let me ask you. Let me frame.
People blame all Oklahoma City's problems on Russell Westbrook, and if you look at his goddamn numbers, he's gotten better as a
hear what
player
you're saying.
and less selfish. So where does it all come from? Who do you put it on?
I hear you. Let me frame it for you a different way, though. Kevin Durant's a free agent. He knows that he basically has this year and next year with, I mean, you could almost call it unlimited cap space for him if he goes somewhere else, okay? The team that just beat you comes calling and says, hey, dude, you know, water under the bridge, understand, you know, it's always business, never personal, whatever. We got 54 million reasons over 2 years for you to come and get a ring with us, maybe 2, and then we'll figure it out from there. What's not to say he's looking at that much money and saying, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show everybody that I'm a better player than Steph Curry, and I'm going to take that team and make it mine. I mean, maybe he's looking at this from an entirely different angle that we're not even thinking of. Now, mind you, I don't disagree with a word you said, but I think there's different ways to look at this right now because of the situation with the cap this year and next year. Now, to your point,
Could have did the same thing everywhere else.
And you're right, but the thing is, if you could do the same thing anywhere else, are you going to go where you think you have the best chance to win? That's probably what he did. And the other piece of this, though, and I don't take this lightly at all because the guy is the freaking NBA logo. Jerry West is a vice president with Golden State. Jerry West went 1-7 in his career in the NBA Finals. I don't know how the hell you get to be the logo for the NBA when you only win one championship in your career. But he got into Kevin Durant's head. And he was talking about how many times can you possibly go to the conference finals or the NBA finals and not get over the hump before it starts to wear on you. And I think he started messing with Kevin's head a little bit. And Kevin said, okay, well, there's all that money and there's that ready-made squad. I'm going to make this jump hell or high water.
I hate it. It irks me more. It irks me more because, oh my, you're playing with a top 5 player right now. You just went out and made a move for another guard in Oladipo, who's good defensively, who can D it up a little bit, get to the rim a little bit, bring you some more offense to this team. Russell Westbrook, in terms of shot selection, shot the ball 22 times a game, averaged in 14-15, and dropped that 4 down to 18 shots a game.
Right,
his assist numbers went up 2. Went up a full 2.
Okay, but now do you think...
Real quick, his points per game from 28 to 23. This guy took a back seat to Kevin Durant,
right, but now, and I get that, but do you think that Kevin Durant may have looked at the acquisition of Oladipo and he said, well, you know what? Westbrook has already taken a step back and acquiesced some of his game to me. He's not going to do that anymore, so now I'm going to have to give up some of my game to this Oladipo kid. Forget it, I'm out of here.
Well, what's he going to do in Golden State? He's giving up his game to everybody.
No.
His whole team is giving up his game to.
It becomes real easy to give up your game if you finish 79-2.
I agree. Listen, I just think, I mean,
I get that you hate it, and I don't disagree
he
with
should
your
have stayed
hatred.
where he was and go win the damn thing.
And that's fine.
Greatness doesn't run from it. Jordan didn't run from Chicago when he wasn't getting it done at the beginning. He didn't go running. I know 9 years is a long time, but at the end of the day, you're one win away from the NBA Finals. Go back and try it again. If you want to sign a small deal with Oklahoma City, then sign the same deal with them.
Oh, here was the conversation I was telling you about with my buddy Brian. Said he won't get skewered the same way LeBron did. People hate on LeBron, and LeBron didn't help himself with the ESPN decision show, but you don't go to a team that you couldn't beat. Pussy S right there. No respect for him. You're a top 5 player. Go to a team that you make yours. You don't go to the team that you couldn't beat. Go to Boston. Go to Boston. Go to San Antonio. Go anywhere other than that team. And I said, so you're saying he's soft, which is what you said. And Brian said, no, I'm saying he bitched out.
Yeah, Brian, I agree with everything he said because he's spot on. He bitched out. If you go to Boston, now you're changing the balance of power east to west.
But here you go.
like that.
So Brian says, why don't we just go and get rid of 15 NBA teams now because this is how it's going to be. They're pure schedule fillers. What's the point of even playing those games? Said, I don't need parity. I need competitiveness night in and night out. These moves are weakening the league, and hopefully the commissioner with those effing Dumbo ears hears some of this. Spot on.
He's right. He's right. I don't see how it does anything good for your career jumping ship. And everybody can sit here and tell me, well, if he gets the ring, it doesn't matter. Yes, it still does. It's still an asterisk to a lot of people next to that ring because you went to the team that beat you. That is the definition of softness. That's the definition of no competitiveness. That's the definition of everything we tell our athletes not to be is what Kevin Durant just went and did. And I'm never going to accept it. It should get ridiculed more than LeBron James. It should get crushed everywhere. Even when the greats come out like Charles Barkley and say the same damn thing that I said 2 days ago, it's just proof that it's right. It's wrong. It's what we're saying is right, but it's wrong of him to do that. Go to Boston and switch the balance of power. Say, you know what? And I mean the balance of power because we all know the West is deeper.
Right.
So now go to the East and say, you know what? I'm not scared of you, LeBron. Act like it, Kevin. You're acting soft to me. You're acting like you're just a shooter to me. That's all you are. You want to be a spot-up shooter, then go to Golden State because at the end of the day, I will write it down that team will fail this year. And I mean fail by not winning a championship.
All right.
Write it down somewhere. The Golden State Warriors will not win a championship with Kevin Durant, and it's not because there's not enough balls to go around. It's because there's not enough goddamn egos to go around.
Interesting.
There's not enough.
All right.
Listen. It's all kumbaya before you get on the court. Oh, we love it. We're going out. We go to Jamaica in the all season together. Nobody plays for the USA team. We all fall in love with each other. But when you get on the court. And Steph Curry can say all he wants that, if Durant wins the MVP, he'll be sitting in the first row. Maybe he will be. But at the end of the day, with that much talent on one team, how much are the egos going to play into this? Because now, you remember, this was a team in Golden State.
Right.
Now, with Kevin Durant, that pressure magnifies.
See, what I had said, and I do have one more question about this that I want to get to, but what I had said was, I don't think it's going to be a problem for Durant to play with Steph Curry and to play with Klay Thompson. I think where you're going to have the issue is Draymond Green. Because let's face it, whether you like him as a person, as a player, whatever, Draymond Green could be a top 10 player in this league if he was on another team. But the bottom line is the guy is a hothead. He can't control his emotions, and he's got a screw loose. What's to say that Draymond Green, when he's putting up 8-8-3 at the All-Star break next year, doesn't start to become a destructive force because he's not getting his?
Well, I think this whole team's soft. And I talked about it earlier. People can say that the NBA is going to this three-point shot and that's where the league's moving to. Listen, I'm not a believer in it, nor will I believe in it ever, because at the end of the day, when you're hot, everything's beautiful. But when you start struggling from downtown, shots start not going in, what happens? You lose an NBA
You lose
Finals.
an NBA championship.
And the way I look at it, this game's still won inside out. I'm not an analytic guy, but at the end of the day, what's a higher field goal percentage?
Right, but even if you don't have a post presence, inside out driving dish.
Yes, I still believe it's one.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Golden State did a lot of that drive and dish stuff, but losing Andrew Bogut hurt them in that series.
Yeah, but you look at what Cleveland did. Cleveland drove. They didn't dish. They
No,
finished.
they were physical. They took the ball to the basket. They got points inside, easy baskets. And that's where I think the game is. And I hope that in terms of Philadelphia 76ers, and this ties into it, that we change the way the game is played for the better. Let's get it back to a little old school. Big guys beat you up down low. Get the easy baskets, the easy fouls, the easy N1 baskets, and take the game back inside where it's freaking played at.
Right.
It's played inside out. Listen, besides, if you're not Mike, 2 guards, sign shoe deals, big men win championships, unless you're Mike.
All right, now my last.
LeBron's considered a big guy to make it. He's 6'8".
Yeah, he's 6'8", and
Maybe
he's
not.
built like a tight end.
Yeah.
My last question on the Durant thing: is it worse because he was one of the guys who spoke out about the whole, dream team scenario back, when it was happening early on in his career, when you had, the after effects of Karl Malone and Gary Payton going to the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. And then you had, LeBron go to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and they were building these powerhouses. And he was the one who spoke out against it. And now he's on the other side of that. Does it make it worse?
Yeah. It all adds up. It's all points against them. It's all things we can use against them. And I'm not trying to come on here and just crush Kevin Durant for leaving Oklahoma City. That's not what it's about. It's about crushing Kevin Durant for going where he went. And that's what it comes down to. And then when you come out and you say things 6-7 years ago, about teams creating these super teams and you having a problem with it, but then
so any other team and you don't even care. But because it's Golden State, it's just the absolute wrong move.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, the issues in Oklahoma City were not Russell Westbrook. I think they lie on Kevin Durant. I really, truly do. Westbrook took that back seat for Kevin Durant this year. He did. He did.
No, I hear you. I think it was deeper than that. I think it's the coaching staff. I think it was a lack of depth. I think there were a lot of problems.
There is, and you know how much of a favorite team that was of mine.
No, I know. You were on them early.
And how high I was on them, and that's what upsets me even more because I still think they were so close, and they can get it done. You know what I mean? And
sorry.
Watch out for Oklahoma City
right.
this year. Which if Westbrook stays, watch out for them because I'm telling you, this is a man that's going to play on a mission. On a mission.
But that leads me to another great question.
Not going to be Golden State, hell no. But
right. But the flip side of this is that Russell Westbrook has said he has no plans now to re-up with Oklahoma City.
Nor should he.
So if you're the 76ers and you've got all these big men now, and you've been dangling a couple of them already, are you willing to offer a package to Oklahoma City where you say, we'll give you Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, next year's first-round draft pick, and T.J. McConnell for Russell Westbrook, pending Russell Westbrook willing to sign an extension, even if it's just 1 or 2 years until you figure out how this whole cap thing is going to go. I mean, if you're the Sixers, do you go for the big splash? Because you've got the money, you've got the assets. Thanks, Sam Hinkie. Appreciate you. Love you. Do you make that big splash? Do you go for the dive?
No. And I think Russell Westbrook is a top 3-5 player in this league. The reason I don't do it is we talked about not rushing for the quick fix. And Russell Westbrook,
he's 27 years old, though. I don't think it's going to be a quick fix. He's not 32.
It just depends on the length. The 1 or 2, no. It's got to be a 5-year deal with him. It's got to be a max money. I got to know he's here for 5. I got to know he's not going nowhere because at the end of the day, I spent all this time breaking it down to build it back up and have these core kids play together. And to dish these 2 of my big pieces off and a pick, I got to sign this guy for a long period of time. And I got to know I have him for a long period of time.
Let me draw a picture for you real quick, though. You have Ben Simmons initiating your offense with Nick Stauskas on a wing, Joel Embiid on the low block, Russell Westbrook running the baseline, and Jeremy Grant, Hollis Thompson, Robert Covington, whoever you want, crashing offensive glass. That team, I mean, they go from 10 wins to a potential 5 seed. I mean, literally in one off season.
Oh, no question. I listen, the fix will be there. I mean, Russell would fix his team real quick. But, are you giving away 21, 22-year-olds for the quick fix? That 120-year-old that just averaged 17-8 in his rookie year. It's a lot to give up.
I know, and that's
why it's so tough.
That's another topic for another show. I don't understand why so many people were willing to cut bait on Okafor already, but we'll get into that another time. That just baffles me.
Yeah, and I think Colangelo and Brett Brown both believe that they're going to have to move one of these big men before the season starts.
I don't. I hang on to them because you know what? They could get you a bigger return at the deadline for a team that's in contention that needs a piece to put them over the top.
No, you're right on.
Then they're going to get you right now.
Dwayne Wade on leaving Heat for Bulls. This was not an easy decision, but I feel I have made the right choice.
Well, good for him.
All right, Dwayne. It's first thing coming out of his mouth. That's fine, and I feel bad for him a little bit. But he goes and plays with Rajon Rondo over there at the Bulls and Jimmy Butler. So an interesting little threesome they have there in Chicago. And if anybody can keep Rajon Rondo right in the locker room, I would think that'd be Dwayne Wade, wouldn't you, Michael? We were talking earlier that Dwayne Wade walks in the locker room and the respect
the respect
given.
is
Nothing's earned. It's already been earned.
All right, but
it's
now
given.
here's the question, though.
I like Rondo, but he's a problem.
No, and I agree.
But he can flat out dish it, baby. He can flat out dish it.
But what do? I mean, do they run
Wade at the 2?
Rondo at the point, Wade at the 2, and Jimmy Butler at 3?
Yeah, I actually like it.
It's a small lineup. I don't
like it a lot.
I like it too, but it's a small lineup.
They both play big though, and Butler and Wade play bigger. And Rondo's a bigger point essentially. He's not a gigantic guy, but
but they're losing Pau Gasol though.
They're still not good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. They're gonna play. They're gonna play ball with you. I mean, in the East, dude, they're a good team. That's what's sad about it. In the West, they get smothered. They're 9 seed.
And it's like, and it's funny. It's because I think we've become so accustomed to these teams in the West setting the tone for what's a good team.
In the East.
They you just, you put these teams together in the East, and you think, they're garbage. But then you go look at the standings, and you realize that in the East, they're a 50-win team. It's unbelievable.
Got somebody chiming in here. Mitch. Gomez. Mitch Cohen.
Yeah.
Gomez as a surprise.
As a surprise? Okay.
Yep, so I just wanted to shout out to Mitch. I know he's
Mitch
living the Florida
Mitch
life.
chiming in from Florida.
Living the FLA life we're jealous of. But
a little bit.
Another good name. I mean, the guy's only blown 2 saves. He's been legit all year. I mean, you got to get to him to give him more opportunities, but the guy's been good. But I'm not in love with him.
Closers on a bad team are a dime a dozen.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. We were putting our GM hats on the other day, and
he's no Ricky Vaughn.
Nah, I mean Ricky Vaughn. He ain't a trendsetter.
All right, so we got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, 7.
All right.
I mean, we could.
Thought we was going to the 45, but it's all good. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever. I mean, wherever we go.
You want to move to that last little fun topic that you were mentioning earlier?
Yeah, let's do that. Well, let's give BMW their last. Let's give some reads out here and get that all out of the way, and then we'll wrap it up that way. So this month, BMW Atlantic City has challenged the sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now. At least a certified pre-owned Elite 2016 BMW 320i with X-Drive. Just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 on the Parkway. Online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Also, Scanzano Sports Center, indoor hitting, fielding facility, team training, everything. ScanzanoSports.com is how you can find them. And we got to give love, obviously, to the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. 703 Black Horse Pike, Glendora, New Jersey. You can find them on the web, sportsoutletinc.com. And every Wednesday night, Gibson Mayer, your certified public accountant, GibsonMayer.com. So look at that, 4 of them in 30 seconds, Michael?
Bada bing.
Bada boom. Yeah, let's get into one. Mr. Russell Wilson, congratulations, sir.
A little danger Russ got a little dangerous.
He got dangerous. He was probably in there for
3.5 seconds.
I was being nice and giving him less than 30. But Russell Wilson and Sierra, listen, you probably just took off her clothing, and he might have went right there. So he might never even got in. And babe, we'll go give me a minute. We'll go second round.
Well, if I could reflect back onto my youth, to quote the immortal Andrew Dice Clay, one stroke done.
That's it. He might not even got to the strike.
But there's a whole underlying story to all this. Sierra worried that Future may kill her fiancé, Russell Wilson. New documents in a defamation suit claim the R&B singer's ex is threatening her fiancé. How did their relationship go from marriage to murder? Interesting.
Wait, what the hell's going on? Her ex is talking about murdering Russell Wilson?
Her ex, the rapper Future. Sierra points to the rapper Future's rhymes on his song Juice, which included the lyrics, and I quote, so I don't get suspended from the air, "Trying to fuck my baby mama, dog, what's up with you? You gonna make me get that heat, I'm pulling up on you."
Wow.
She also cites a recent Instagram post of his, now deleted, featuring 2 football emojis with guns pointed at them. Following reports of Sierra's latest filing, Future took to Twitter Tuesday afternoon with a vague retort, "Wish everyone could move on like me. That's my only wish."
Now he's wishing everybody could move on. The guy's talking about killing Russell Wilson.
So do you
In
think?
so many words?
Well, do you think Sierra and Russ kind of got down and did the nasty because maybe the clock is ticking on this guy? And I say that with my tongue in cheek, understanding that it is a serious allegation.
Well, yeah, I mean, now they're married, and, you know, they just probably recently finished up round 3, hopefully, for Russell and Julian Sierra. But it's interesting, man. Guys, you know, these rappers can say whatever they want and essentially just seem to get away with it, too.
Do you think that the accusations had anything to do with them finally going ahead and getting married and doing their thing, or do you think this was just a plan all along?
Yeah, I think it was just a plan all along.
Get that taken care of before training camp starts.
Yeah, get it all out of the way.
Get married, get all the bumping uglies out of the way.
Yeah, honeymoon.
Make sure that none of that stuff's going down when training camp starts, and do what we got to do.
Yeah, I do. I just think it was time. I mean, how long can the guy wait, though?
Interesting. In July 2015, so that's literally last year, Sierra and Russell Wilson went public with their relationship. The alarmingly wholesome couple took amorous intensity to a whole new level, pledging not to sleep with one another until they were married. While the entertainment industry has had its share of fair-weather virgins, from Nick Jonas to Britney Spears, Sierra and Wilson actually seemed resolute. Cleverly, the couple decided not to put too much pressure on their faith-based abstinence plan, announcing engagement plans after less than 2 months of dating. Alrighty then.
Yeah, they weren't going to wait around long for that one.
Yeah, not so much.
No, they rushed it. But, they got a guy hunting them with guns. I mean.
When asked about Wilson and Sierra's old-school approach, Future replied, "God told me something else. He ain't tell me to wait. I guarantee you that. We prayed afterwards, though. We did it. We prayed. That's a true story."
Well, he's got a lot to say, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's he's just putting it all out there. This guy's not helping himself any.
Not at all.
Lord only knows if anything happens to Russell Wilson, he's going to be suspect number 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, right? I mean, Jesus, these guys. Everything's got to be a gun, right? I mean, you lost your girl. What do you want us to tell you? You should have held on to her better, brother.
Can't it just be like a country song? Like your dog dies, your girl leaves, your truck breaks down, your rifle won't shoot, but you go grab a bottle of Jim Beam and sit on the porch.
That's all.
And everything's okay.
Let the guy go grab his syrup. Sip on the syrup then.
It's
You know what I mean?
unbelievable.
I don't mean that in disrespect, but, the rappers like their syrup.
Oh, I hear you.
So just say a couple sips of your syrup.
Some purple drink.
Take a step back, count your dough, and move on. You know what I mean? Everybody wants Sierra. I get it. That's a lot of money there.
Yeah, this guy's got more gold around his neck than I'm worth.
Well, we got like a minute left. You think there's a prenup with Russell and Sierra?
Yeah.
More on her end than his end.
And it could be more on her end than his end, but yeah, there's no way
I
there's
mean, he's got
not.
a tons of endorsement money too. So I mean, definitely Sierra
But-
has more
all right,
money than
But
Russell.
here's my thing. If you're Russell Wilson, seriously, no matter how much tail you could pull as an NBA player, if you got Sierra, are you going anywhere?
No, I mean, I'm
Hell
not,
no.
no, you know, and Russell's a good guy. Maybe she's staying around too. You never know. Definitely different from what she was dating, obviously,
For real.
in Mr. Future. But fun show, Michael.
Absolutely.
You'll be on vacation next week. You enjoy yourself.
And we will be coming back the following week with our 1-year anniversary show.
How about that? How time flies. How time flies.
We
But-
made it a year without killing each other.
Yeah, that's good news.
That is good news.
To another one, sir.
My man. Give it up.
For Michael Mataraki, I'm Tom Arnone. It's been Tom, Mike, AM, and the PM right here at A2DRadio.com. We like to thank Gibson Mayer, our sponsor every Wednesday, the certified public accountant. GibsonMayer.com is how you can find them. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Later.
Peace.